This is a perfectly normal bottle of American whiskey. I can simply export it, can't I?
No.
In the past, prohibition meant no alcohol for anyone at all. Today, prohibition means whether for high tech or high proof that I have to carry out a check. We will take a sober look at these prohibitions with a little shot of humor. My name is Ulrike Jasper. I've been an attorney at AEB for over 18 years, working in export control and sanctions law. Some of the elements in this video were created with AI, but all of the knowledge comes from me.
My product is totally harmless, so I can just skip this step, right?
I often hear this, but you shouldn't make this mistake. If your product is subject to the EAR, whether with an ECCN or an EAR 99, then you must check if your business transaction falls under General Prohibitions 4 to 10. This does not only relate to the product itself, but to the risks related to the recipient, certain countries, or the intended end use. Let's take a closer look. And don't be confused, we're starting directly with number 4. That's actually correct.
General Prohibition 4. Denied Persons List.
This is one of the toughest US measures. Persons, companies, or organizations that have violated US export laws are found on this list. This applies, for instance, if you do not comply with the EAR. If my business partner is found on this list, they are excluded from trading in any US products. I have to cancel my business transaction.
General Prohibition 5. End Use and End User.
In addition to a series of end uses requiring a license, you'll find 3 further lists here that restrict trade with US products with the listed business partners.
Entity List.
The entity list includes companies, organizations, and research institutions that the US considers to be a significant risk to its national security. For instance, because of military activities or espionage, trading US products with those listed here is essentially prohibited.
Unverified List.
The unverified list is a warning list that contains companies for which an end-use check could not be successfully carried out by the US authorities. That is right. US authorities can request physical access worldwide from all the recipients of US products. The goal is to check on-site if the received US products are used in compliance with EAR. If you deny the authorities access, it is quite possible that you will end up on this list.
Military End User List.
The military end user list lists companies which operate in both the civilian as well as military sectors. It focuses heavily on China, Russia, and Venezuela and is restricted to certain goods with an ECCN.
And how do you correctly check these lists?
The aforementioned lists are all found within the EAR and can be checked manually using a tool provided by the US authorities. Of course, you can also easily have these lists checked automatically using software. Naturally, we're offering just the right solution for that. For anyone who wants to find out more, I have put a link in the video description.
General Prohibition 6. Embargoed countries or embargoed destinations.
Certain countries are partially or even completely blocked from trading US products. These so-called total embargo countries are Cuba, North Korea, Syria, and with restrictions, Iran. Occupied territories such as Crimea can also fall under this. I really need to be extra cautious here if my recipient is located in one of these countries.
General Prohibitions 7 to 10.
I've thought long and hard about whether we should cover Prohibitions 7 to 10 here as well. The fact is, these general prohibitions require a very thorough case-by-case evaluation. Of course, you can't just leave them out, but in the cases I deal with, they are rarely relevant. Should we make a video about that? Let me know in the comments section. In any case, it is essential when trading US products to carry out a check against prohibitions 4 to 6.
My item falls under one of the general prohibitions. What should I do now?
If my business transaction falls under a general prohibition at the end of the decision tree, I will end up at Submit Application for License. This means that my business transaction is being controlled and does indeed require a license by the BIS. Without a license, the re-export cannot take place. The law usually provides information on the prospects of the licensing process. If the phrase presumption of denial is used, this is effectively a ban. If a case-by-case note is found, the BIS may indeed grant a license.
And what if my item does not fall under any of the general prohibitions?
If no general prohibition applies to my export transaction, then at least re-exporting EAR 99 products is allowed. The decision tree leads to the no license required field. I can simply export. But be careful. National export control law must always be observed independently of US re-export control law. For all companies based in the EU, this is the EU dual-use regulation.
What do I do with products with an ECCN?
For US products with an ECCN, the assessment journey continues. You need to answer the next question in the decision tree.
Is there an X in the box?
That sounds a bit like a treasure hunt, and that's exactly what we'll look at in the next video. Cheers! Yeah, apple juice.